What is up guys, Jarv here, back today jumping into Destiny. In today's video we're taking a look at one of the best weapons that you're probably not using in Destiny 2 right now. With the launch of Arc 3.0, it's absolutely insane, and with GMs just around the corner, this could be a real great alternative. So be sure to stick around and enjoy the video. If you do enjoy the video, be sure to leave a comment and rating down below, and remember to subscribe for more Destiny 2 content. But without further delay guys, let's jump into the video. Now today's video is brought to us by DPS Games. They're a brand new studio and they're working on an awesome new hero vehicle shooter for PC. It's a working title called Arena Clash, and it's packed with epic characters and intense vehicle combat, and you'll lead your hero in incredible 15v15 battles. Now this game is still in early development and they're looking for players to take part in a large multiplayer playtest. This starts on the 27th of September and runs through until the 30th. You'll get the chance to be one of the first to play this promising project and help shape the future of this game. Now head to the link in the description to get access to the game on Steam and hop into their official Discord, and I'll see you on the battlefield. Now another season and another We Were All Wrong video. Each and every season the meta changes up as a result of the seasonal artifact, and with that some of the weapons that are our guilty pleasures come to the forefront and actually become very strong and potent weapons. This season is no different, and with the launch of Arc 3.0 it further elevates the potential of these weapons. Now the weapon we're going to take a look at today is the Grand Overture. This is an exotic power machine gun that was launched back in Season of the Risen back in Season 16. Now its basic intrinsic trait is Wrath of the Colossus, and this is a heavy slug launcher that charges then fires full auto when the trigger is held down. It also has the exotic trait Omega Strike, and this is where landing hits with the slug launcher will load missiles into reserve, and then you can fire them to launch several missile volleys all at once. Now if you don't have the Grand Overture, you can pop over to the Monument of Lost Lights in the tower, and if you head over to the Witch Queen section you'll find the Grand Overture. You'll need an exotic cipher, some glimmer, legendary shards, and also an ascendant shard in order to pick this one up. Now the Grand Overture also has a catalyst, and this is where missile explosions will blind combatants and those defeated by missile impacts will explode. Now with that being said, if you didn't finish the catalyst for this weapon you could pop over to the quest terminal over by the Postmaster, and once again this has an exotic section, and any incompleted exotic catalysts can be found here if you've abandoned them previously. Now it's well worth getting this catalyst done, not just for the additional trait but also the bonuses that it provides to the weapon itself, providing plus 20 both to stability and handling. So that's a quick look at the weapon, where you can pick it up, where you can get the catalyst and what that does. But why is this so good in Season 18? Well, the Grand Overture has been my guilty pleasure for over a season and a half. I in fact completed the catalyst for this weapon last season in anticipation for Arc 3.0, but with Season 18 we also saw a buff to machine guns, which sees weapons like the Grand Overture dealing even more damage. Now as we touched upon at the beginning of the video, each and every season we also get a brand new artifact. This season is no different, and with this season overload champions are stunnable via machine guns themselves. Now the best way to see the Grand Overture is more of a heavy fusion rifle, because all the rounds are charged, but once you have the weapon primed then it pretty much fires full auto, requiring very little charge time at all. As for the projectiles from the weapon, these travel relatively slow, so you will need to anticipate the location of your target, but it makes clearing out large groups of combatants very easy, especially if you have the catalyst, because not only will these blind combatants, any combatants you defeat will explode, and these explosions are fantastic in helping generate ionic traces. Now ionic traces work perfectly with electrostatic mind. This is the warlock aspect, and this is where defeating targets with arc abilities or by defeating jolted or blinded targets will create a ionic trace, and collecting that trace will make you amplified. Now if you can become amplified fairly easily, then some fragments that work on every class are things like Spark of Beacons, which is when you're amplified, your arc special weapon final blows will create a blinding explosion. This mirrors the catalyst trait that's been applied to the Overture as well, allowing for your special weapon and heavy weapon to both blind and explode targets. Another potent fragment fragment is Spark of Discharge, and this is where arc weapon final blows have a chance to create Ionic traces. Now if you pair some of those fragments and aspects with some of the new arc exotics that were introduced this season, most notably the Fallen Sunstar on the Warlock, this allows Ionic traces that you create to move faster and will grant you ability energy, and on top of that, nearby alloys will also gain ability energy when you're collecting your Ionic trace. So it's with that in mind, the Grand Overture is one of the best arc weapons in Destiny 2 for creating Ionic traces. This allows you to take advantage of all the fragments and aspects on your subclass, bringing your other weapons into play and helping elevate your overall loadout. Now another area that the Grand Overture really shines in Season 18 is with overload champions. Now machine guns are some of the most consistent weapons when it comes to stunning overload champions. The Grand Overture is no different, except with this weapon you're building up your stacks of a Mega Strike. Now this stacks up to 20 times, and unlike other weapons that have stacking bonuses, you can change, stow and pretty much do anything else with any of your other weapons, and those stacks remain. The only time you will lose your Omega Strike stacks are when you die. It creates a very high risk reward style of play, but if you can really lean into that, then the Overture is excellent for ad clear. But then when you have that tanky single target, whether that be an overload champion or a mini boss, you can activate your Omega Strike and deal incredible amounts of single burst damage. So much so you can take out an overload champion in a single blast. Now a lot of the footage that you're seeing here with overload champions is in this 1600 Master Nightfall. I loaded in solo and was able to take on these overload champions with relative ease. Now what this helps to display is the Grand Overture will be great for taking out targets at range with its normal firing mode, but then when you're up close and personal and come face to face with an overload champion, those free Omega Strike rounds that you've built up you can use in order to take out an overload champion in a single blast. Now one piece of critical feedback when it comes to the Grand Overture is often seen as its lack of ammo reserves. However, in my opinion, the ammo efficiency on this weapon is absolutely insane. So much so, in theory, as long as you can hit all your shots and take advantage of your Omega Strike blast, which generates automatically, by the way, if you're hitting all your shots, essentially creating free ammo, then the damage output on this weapon is up there with things like Deathbringer, Sleeper Simulant, and even the Anarchy. Now the Grand Overture is one of the best utility weapons in Destiny 2, but it's definitely not the best DPS weapon available in the game. But with that being said, it is still worth having at least one of these in your fire team to take out those tanky targets from distance and make short work of pretty much any overload champion you come face to face with. And on top of that, it will also help create an incredible amount of Ionic traces, which will help your entire team get all their abilities back in next to no time. So it's with that in mind, Grandmaster Nightfalls kick off on the 4th of October, so we have a few weeks left in order to get our overtures leveled up and also finish the catalyst for this weapon to make sure we're perfectly equipped to take on those overload champions in Grandmaster Nightfalls this season. So there we have it guys, a good look at the Grand Overture, probably the best arc weapon you may not be using in Season 18. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to check out one of the 2 videos you see here in these cards for more Destiny 2 content. And if you want to keep up to date with everything to do with Destiny 2, then be sure to hit subscribe as well. I'm going to jump into the game as always guys, and I will catch you all again very soon.